Is it that time? Is it that time?
I think it is.
It's my favorite time of the month. Twice a month,
Woohoo.
we are here live, and it's Thursday, and it's another thankful Thursday.
That it is.
Yeah, so we'll let a few people get on watching us through YouTube and Facebook, and of course, LinkedIn. And the cool thing now is we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Awesome.
So you will be able to watch the replays and share that. I am looking to get 100 subscribers
Love it.
through Spotify by the end of October. So as Carolyn knows, I'm throwing it out to the universe.
Manifested. Oh yeah. It's happening.
I'm manifesting it. Yes, we are. So I trust everybody has been doing well. And yeah, you were on a boat this weekend, weren't you?
I was. It was so fun. I mean, you have to take advantage of every almost 80-degree day in October. Like, how cool is that?
So
very grateful for that.
It was Lake Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how cool is that? I saw a couple
Super
pictures
fun.
and the pictures look beautiful, right?
It was wonderful and great people collaborating, hanging out. It was a wonderful time. Being outside.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you showed me the pictures. I was walking through a hoarding house while you were on the boat. It was very moldy. It was a wholesale property, and we're going to be under contract tomorrow. So yeah, it worked out well. Oh, Andrew, thanks for joining us on YouTube. There is Big B-Dog is on LinkedIn. Good to see you. And yeah, drop a comment in the chat if you are here and if you're alive and you are ready to rock this morning.
That's right.
I know Carolyn is. Tell me you don't love this edgy look that Carolyn has right now. Tell me you don't love it with the red jacket. It's like the greatest thing ever.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, you are welcome. And there's Nate joining us. Good to see you, Nate. Ronka.
Nate, hey, good morning.
Now, did Ronka make you look better in pictures?
Ronka's amazing.
Yeah.
She is so great at her craft. And also it's more than just, I mean, the pictures are beautiful. Her studio is beautiful. She's a beautiful person. But it's really having her connect with how we feel and getting in touch with like our inner beauty and our power. And Ronka has like a beautiful way of doing that. So like, it was just an amazing experience. It wasn't just the end results of the photos, which I loved, but that experience was incredible.
So she wasn't just taking Polaroids and handing you.
Correct. Not at all. It was an experience. I mean, you get pampered. It was luxurious. I had my hair, my makeup done, and it just felt so welcome, so invited. And again, just bringing out she knows who I am, and she takes the time, like even if she doesn't know who you are, she'll take the time to get to know you, what you're about, what your core essence is, and she brings it out in the photos.
I love that. And isn't that a learning lesson for all of us? Ronka, thank you, is to get to know people, to listen, to learn what their core essence is, and then to bring it out.
Love that.
Look at that. Look at what we're learning today. All right, there's Nicole. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. She's a licensed certified social worker. Awesome. There's Tony on Facebook. Very good. There is Tony P is in his house on LinkedIn.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah, good to see you too. Yeah, we are just loving Thursdays. And I'm going to say it's a thirsty Thursday, which is why I am drinking Tasty Spindrift. Now, you know that I've become a spokesperson for Spindrift, and it's going to happen. And you'll see it's going to happen because not only is it refreshing because it is bubble water, but it's also kind of fruity, and it doesn't have those fake natural flavors that the other ones claim to have. This is just straight up a little juice. It's non-GMO. It's stylish yet innovative. Try some.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, me too. And I love that I can get a 30-pack at Costco now.
Sweet.
Oh, it's the great. It is kind of sweet. This one happens to be live.
Oh my.
Oh. All right. So on that note, we got a few more people in here. And all right, you want to start off with the beginning quote?
Absolutely. Okay, so your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions. Albert Einstein.
And on that note, welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default Livestream. It's your weekly dose of personal growth. My name is Dave. I'm your host.
And I'm Carolyn Litton, creator of The Vision Project.
Yes, and we are here to have fun with purpose, entertain you, and just make the rest of the week the best that we can. This is episode number 56. I'm super excited, and our topic is
manifestation.
Manifestation. We have the queen of manifestation. We have the Queen Shakti in flames right here talking about manifestation. And I'm super excited about that. As always, you will love the conversation, the leadership takeaways, the collaboration, and the fun with purpose that you get with Live Beyond Default Livestream. And I ask the same question every time. Has your week been epic so far? And if not, why? If it hasn't been epic, why? Let's take responsibility for our thoughts and for our words and for our actions, because we know that everything we have or don't have in life is all because of what we've done or haven't done. We don't blame anybody else for anything else. We don't blame Bitcoin for being down. We don't blame gas prices for being up. We don't blame wars or presidents or our bosses or our girlfriends or boyfriends or anything else. We take full responsibility for where we are at. So if your week has not been epic so far, now is the time. We're going to up level and we're going to kick it up a notch. And through the rest of the week, we're going to bring the love to everybody else that we encounter.
Love that. That's what it's about, really.
Leave the vibe better than you found it. Like,
Absolutely.
why are we even getting up in the morning, right? All right. So it's going to be an exciting day today. And we always like to start off with gratitude. We have a lot of things to talk about. So let's hop right into it. Carolyn and everybody else, drop 3 things that you're grateful for in the chat.
Love, love, love.
All right, Carolyn, what are you grateful for today?
So today I'm grateful for actually the kids who volunteered with Hearts for Hope last night were incredible. I'm super thankful for them and grateful for them. They were, it was actually at Christus Victor Church, and a bunch of kids were making their confirmation, getting ready to make for their confirmation. And they were packing bags and writing handwritten notes of encouragement for the homeless. And to the energy in the room and to see kids giving back and making a difference was amazing. So that's my gratitude.
I love that. All right. I'm going to start off with, I'm grateful for today that there's a little bit of rain.
Ooh.
We've had a lot of sun, and I've been thinking about this lately. Like, sometimes in our lives, we've prayed for the sun or we've wanted it to be sunny, but then somebody else is praying for the rain, perhaps the farmer.
For sure.
Perhaps somebody else in a dry climate that can use the rain. So it's kind of funny how that works, right? The rain, the sun, and all these different things, like what we want and what we don't want. And in the end, it just is.
Absolutely. And I feel like when you can take gratitude in all situations, that's like a level of mastery. Like even, the external circumstances are beyond our control. So it's really only we can control, our thoughts, which then lead to how we feel and the actions that we take. But yes, when you can be grateful, even when things aren't going our way, and look for that lesson, that opportunity, like, ooh, this is a chance to learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's super powerful.
I love that. Yeah. So I'm grateful for the rain. I'm grateful to be on the live stream again after a couple weeks. And lastly, I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that I have to bring value and share the love with people in my network, people in my neighborhood, people on the live stream. And so that's my deal. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that. Michelle Rubin, thank you. She says, another day, God and her family. Love that.
Awesome.
Excuse me. Good morning, Dawn. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning.
And what else we have? Oh, grateful for family, which motivates me daily, friends, support system, and well-being life. Love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, starting off with gratitude is the way to go.
It is. It's part of the vision project too.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of manifestation, truly.
Ooh.
It's the, it's taking gratitude and I mean, it raises your vibrational frequency. So kind of jumping right into it, of course, manifestation starts with, asking and having that vision.
Sure.
But, a lot of people may think like, oh, why is this not happening? Well, in addition to that, you also have to be ready to receive. And in order to receive, you have to be at like an elevated frequency. And gratitude is one of the best ways to elevate your emotions, elevate that frequency, and getting into like the receptive mode so you can actually receive the blessings that you're looking for.
I love that. So to manifest, you're giving us like a crash course now. We're not even into it yet. And you know what? It sounds a little.
I felt like it was calling. It was.
It was calling. Yeah, it sure was. Oh, well, you're going to talk more about how you've manifested a few things. And I'm really excited about that. And of course, let's talk about something else you've manifested. That's our speaking group and Break the Mold. Tell me a little bit about that and what we have coming up for that.
Oh my goodness. So again, it's the power of your vision and also like really getting to be in tune with yourself and your intuition, because that's what's led me to manifest like the most amazing things. So for those of you who attended Break the Mold last year, it was February 8th, or not last year, earlier this year.
Earlier this year, 2023.
Yeah, I just had a hunch to join to meet a friend of mine who's now a good friend of mine, Alan Stern, for lunch. He said, "Hey, Carolyn, you should really check out this engaging speakers group. It's done so much for me, and it's brought my developments." It just gave him a ton of traction.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, sure, I'll do that. And by that, intuitively felt right. So I joined the group, met Dave and Scott, and we're like, I again just had that hunch. I'm like, these people, they're like totally on the same trajectory. They're looking to speak, they're looking to make a difference, they're looking to like change their lives. And I'm like, why don't we just do a speaking engagement? And it was just an idea, which then turned into like, hey, let's just, again, you don't have to know the how, you just have to know what that is and then follow your intuition. So it's like, hey, let's meet for lunch. Let's go. We met at Westwood, and fast forward like 6 months later, we are at Blue Sky Restoration. Shout out to Blue Sky, and thank you for opening your space to us. And we had about 100 people at a half-day self-development summit. That was amazing.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And now we have the 1-year anniversary, February 8th, 2024.
Save the date.
Save the date. It's Break the Mold again. Now, this time it's going to be at the Lowe's Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. So if you're flying in from out of town, it's like
right by the airport,
5 minutes from the airport. So for all of our friends and family that are out of town that already said they're going to be joining us, we're super excited about that.
Absolutely.
Well, look who else is on here. Heather Kruger says, I'm grateful for mentorship, new opportunities in my life, and to be alive to see another day and help others.
Oh, I mean, Heather's amazing.
Yeah.
Hi, Heather.
Heather, thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Ronka says, I'm grateful for the morning run and fresh air, cuddles with my son this morning. That's amazing too. And what does Nicole say? She's grateful that she gets to spend time with good people today, that she's been blessed to live another day and another year of life. Tomorrow is your birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Nicole. I love birthdays. They're like the greatest things ever. There's this like silly restaurant down the block from where I live called the Choo Choo.
You were telling me about
that.
Oh,
It's the greatest thing ever. So it's like this little diner. Does anybody know what the Choo Choo is? It's this little diner in Des Plaines. And there's a train track that comes out from the kitchen and then just like does this arc and then goes back into the kitchen. Well, like a lot of kids love it and they go there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll have their birthdays. And I will go there just to like enjoy the vibe and the high level of energy. So order a hamburger, whatever it is. And then also the train comes out. And the kids start screaming and going nuts. And it's hilarious. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, here I am, just watching the kids having a birthday party, checking out the vibe. I'm like, it's the greatest thing ever. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Vibing high.
Vibing high.
See,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Nicole. And yeah, save that date for Thursday, February 8th of 2024. It is the second round of Break the Mold 2.0.
That's right.
At the Lowe's Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. So if you're just joining us and you're checking us out on the live stream, thank you. Maybe you have a little tab open in the background so your boss doesn't see that you're listening to this, all right? Maybe you're watching while you're on the treadmill or doing dishes or eating breakfast, and would love for you to check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So look up Live Beyond Default. You'll see this episode there, share it with others, and we appreciate you being here.
Oh, and also, so our theme this year is Connect for Success. So, or next year, I should say. So our next Break the Mold is Connect for Success. Earlier this year, we were from survive to thrive. But again, going back to connection, which is up and coming, connection is just so important, and we need that in each other's lives, right? So just to uplift each other, to be, fulfilling. And also it really helps like catapult levels of success to the next level. Like we're not meant to do things all on our own.
No,
it's through collaboration, through connection, through finding resources is really where we can take things to the next level. So,
and you said something that I really appreciate. You talked about how important connection is. And I'm going to ask the audience this too, along with you. Do we all feel right now in this time, 2023, do we feel more connected to people, or do we feel less connected to people?
That is awesome.
Yeah. Think about that question. Now, we're not necessarily looking for answers, right? The power is in the question.
Yes.
It's not so much the answer. It's just the question. So I'm going to challenge everybody to ask themselves, throw something in the chat if you think.
Throw it in the chat. What do you feel? Do you feel more connected now in this state, right now than you have in the past, or less?
Yeah.
I know my answer, but I want everyone to think about it.
To think about it and to vibe on that, because that's a good one. Okay. So now we're going to come back to that. But I think it's time to bring up the big elephant in the room. Is that what it is? Or the pink elephant in the room?
Speaking of, that's a whole other thing with pink elephants, but that's up and coming. But go ahead.
Well, we have Carolyn Litton on from the Vision Project. And Carolyn has been a dear friend of mine. She's encouraged me to live beyond default in many ways. And on top of it, she is the queen of manifestation. And I'll tell you, it is not woo-woo, okay? If you've seen the movie The Secret, she's actually part 2 of The Secret, where the shit actually gets done and actually happens, and we're not sitting around umming the whole time. I love to tease The Secret about that, okay? Okay, come on, throw on some Abraham Hicks in the background, right? I know. We all love our Abraham Hicks.
I do. I'm a fan, and I will say that's part of really what keeps me like vibing high and remembering.
I love it. I have to tease you about that. So, Carolyn, now is the time. Okay, let's discuss a little bit about where the Vision Project all came from. Where did this idea come? Where did you get the idea for the Vision Project, and how did it start?
Okay.
Just very simply, like, where did the idea drop in and where did you begin?
Sure.
Do you feel?
Sure. So I really, it was a pattern interrupt, really. So I had worked like very, very hard and long hours in my career. I was happy in my career, but it got to the point where I was kind of burning out. And I'm like, okay, I think I need to do more for me. And I, was doing a lot of reflection. I was, or reflecting rather. I was training for, I think like my 4th or 5th marathon at the time. So when you run for hours at a time, you have a lot of time to reflect, right? So I thought like, what can I do for myself? And I thought about like all the things that I've heard uber successful people do, and was like, why am I not doing them? I know I want to do them, but why am I not doing them? So I'm like, okay, it's going to happen. Like this gets to happen. So I made a decision to do what, like these things such as like meditation and several other things. And I committed to doing them. And I was like, whoa, to see the results it had on my life, just like rocked my world. So then,
these results, like immediate results, you were starting to feel different, like after a week or two.
So yeah, so I would like in terms of, yes, I felt different right away. And then part of it was also making a vision board. And I was like, oh my goodness, the power of the vision board is amazing. Now, mind you, I had always wanted to do one, but I didn't have time. But again, I then committed to doing it. And then within 1 year of that original vision board, oh my gosh, I almost doubled my business while like drastically reducing my work hours. So I'm like, okay, by focusing on caring for myself, like I was actually able to be more productive, and I didn't sacrifice the success either. Okay. So I figured out a different way to do it. I started a charity called Hearts for Hope and grew that tremendously. And I mean, since then I've become like a speaker, author, coach. I've done so many like amazing things that were just a dream, and it then became a reality. But my favorite part about it is I was able to, I'll explain more, but like tap into flow. So do you guys, actually, I'd love to hear like how many people know what it is to be in flow?
Okay. So I'm going to stop you right there. Yeah. First of all, Heather says she's feeling more connected, and she feels so many people are craving connection, community, and relationships. I love that, Heather. Thank you for dropping that in. Now, let's get to this. You said that you were wondering and looking at what other successful people did. Okay. You weren't feeling very good or aligned with what you were doing in work.
Correct. I didn't feel balanced.
You didn't feel balanced. Yeah. Okay. And so you started meditating. Okay. And you started noticing some differences.
Yes.
Okay. So let's think about this for us in the beginning. Where do we begin to even look at what successful people do in their daily habits? Like, where do you find that? Do you Google it? Do you talk to these crazy kids doing a live stream? Like, how do you do it? I know how I did it, but how did you do that? And what do you suggest for people that are just beginning on the self-improvement movement, as I like to call it?
Okay. So,
and let's remember something too. I want to be very clear about this. When we say self-improvement, we're not broken. There's nothing that needs to be fixed. Forget about that self-help.
I agree with that statement.
They put self-help in the library. That's default, okay? Yeah. When you see that word help, it's default. It means like we're lacking and we need help. We don't need help. We need leadership. Yes. We need self-responsibility and reflection. And we want to be around people that are doing the same thing and encouraging us to be better. So wipe out that whole self-help term, okay?
I love that.
It's a total default term.
I agree.
And let's level up. Let's up-level our language patterns. So when we begin this self-improvement movement, we understand that it's a long journey. There are other people, though. It's all been written.
Right.
There's other people that are doing it. So where did you find it?
It's actions, it's habits, and things that serve us, that are supporting us in living the life we want to live.
Yeah.
So and again, this is just like over time. So like I don't know if it was online or what, but I've heard how much like Warren Buffett spends the majority of his day reading. And it's like, okay, so I started reading more. And again, just nothing crazy. It's like 10 minutes a day.
Oh, I wonder who said that before, read 10 pages a day.
I know.
I've never heard that one.
Like these things, you hear it all over, so I can't even really pinpoint it.
Yeah.
It's like, these are all the things that I've wanted to do that I've just heard. Like, okay. And then as you read more books, you learn more, which that helped me, again, just in little increments, learn the skills that I needed to like, oh, okay. Oh, I can do this. I can save time doing this. And it's just, that helped me, just advance like in my career. And then it gets you into critical thinking. Like, oh, wait a minute. Okay. This person did this. and started a new company. Okay, well, what could I do? But it's a combination. It's not just one of those things. It's also, it's the reading, it's the podcast, it's the meditation, it's going for walks. So when you're outside going for walks,
wow,
now
nature.
processing.
What a concept.
Right? So you're like connecting with nature, but then you're also processing what you've read. And then you start beginning to think like, how could I apply that in my life? And it just, it's magic. It's amazing.
Let's talk about that magic.
Yeah.
Okay. So the magic is we've got meditation. We've got reading. We have taking a walk. And what's funny about that stuff is how much do those things cost? How much do they cost?
They could, like, if you go to the library, nothing.
Free. And how much is the default system set up that says we're broken, we need help, you've got to pay me $500 to get better. You got to pay me $100 for this pill. Stop with the pills. We don't need pills. We need nature. We need connection.
Yes.
We need reading. We need meditating. We need just to chill out, right? And then you mentioned something about not having enough time, or we thought. You said, oh, yeah, I didn't have enough time. So and that's another big one.
Right. That's the mindset shift, because it's priority, right? Like, do you have time to eat during, at some point you're going to say, I got to make that a priority. So it's all about prioritizing things.
Yes.
But in addition to that too, what I've learned over the years too. And again, we can have the intention, but when you have a supportive community, that helps so much. So that's part of why I'm putting so much energy into the Vision Project. And actually I'm in the process of creating like a group and a program where we can come together, and it's the accountability, and it's just, it could be done I have it down to a science. So you can do all these things in a really short period of time when you're intentional about it. But to have that community, to hold people, to hold each other accountable. And also, again, life is going to life. So when you're having those difficult days, it's great to have the tools to help you, get past the rough moments and to not beat yourself up. And that's something that's like super cool that I've learned as well. So throughout my journey of the Vision Project, I've recently gone through a transformational program in New York City that's like blown my mind. I know a lot of I know Dave knows for sure.
Yeah.
And it's funny because how it's crazy how limiting beliefs can really stop you from getting to the levels where you want to go. So it's funny. I'm always open to learning new things. Always. So I know there's a ton that I don't know. Right. So, but when I first heard about it, I'm like, limiting beliefs. I'm like, I've overcome those. That's what got me into this, gave me the courage to get to this new place in my career, in my life. And I've got this, but I'm sure I could pick up a thing or two.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So it has blown my mind how deep rooted limiting beliefs are. And even though I work on them every day, I learn so many actually new tools and new methods. A lot of them are like experiential, like to get through the deep rooted blocks.
Yeah.
And when you could do that, and when you have a community of people to support you in doing that, like, oh my gosh, next level. So I'm in the process of doing that as well with actually a friend of mine who I met in New York, who's very much aligned with those tools, and he has a bunch of tools of his own, as I have the tools from the Vision Project, and we're coming up with just like this amazing program.
I can't wait to join.
I know.
More Carolyn. I can't get enough. It's so easy. It's so simple. And here's something too, like, it's always a lifelong journey.
Yes.
And realize that this is something really to grasp onto, right? As you're talking, like Carolyn mentioned something about getting us through the down points, getting us through the times that are tough. And the challenge is, it's like when we first get into the self-improvement movement or the self-development world and leveling up and up-leveling our lives, like, it sounds all great in the beginning. And then a few weeks into it, it's like, you know what? This is a pain in the ass. It's not really fun. I got to do all this shit I never had to do before. Okay. And I kind of feel alone and people think I'm weird. And what's really happening here? So remember, like, it's definitely those times where it feels lonely, where you feel alone. That's the gift. That's the self-reflection time. And it's so challenging now because we don't have the gift of being bored anymore. Because when we feel down or we feel lonely, what do? We go for our phones.
Right? The
instantly.
distraction. It's anything to distract. TV, phones, and
again, it's instant. Whereas before, it wasn't instant.
Sure.
Right.
And it's also what I learned too through my New York journey too. It's never about like shame in that, right?
No.
Like it's just, it is what it is. Just, it's about awareness, having awareness that maybe when you're feeling off, that notice that you go directly to your phone or that you turn on the TV, and just, it's an invitation to think about like, well, what if you decided that like one time, like I'm going to go for a walk and just see what comes up, and it's not, again, never, ever, ever about shaming. That's what I've learned. Like that's one of those limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And anytime you are, shaming yourself, like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, you're building that barrier of that limiting belief again. And that's what's going to stop you from getting to that next level. So again, we get to feel our feelings. It's never being wrong. It's being aware and knowing that we have the power to make a decision, and that's it. And you make a decision, and even if you make a decision, you're like, you know what, I'm staying on my phone, and then the next day you're like, oh, you know what, maybe that didn't serve me. It's a new moment, a new decision. Like, you always have that power. You always have that power.
A new moment, a new decision. And like you all decide to be on this live stream or watch the recording of this show, I super appreciate it. You are on episode number 56. I'm here with Carolyn Litton, the founder of the Vision Project and super badass manifestation queen. And we are learning a lot about manifestation and about deep rooted beliefs and limitations. Who has those? I do.
Yeah.
I do. I can think back. I will think back. Will. Language patterns. I will think back to a time where I was in school and on the report cards, we all know what that is. It would, year after year, it's almost like the teachers were talking to themselves. It would say in the comments, Dave lacks self-control. Now, what do you think that does for a young, taught boy like myself? What do you think that taught me as a kid to see that repeatedly, that I lacked self-control? Do you think that was good for me? Do you think it was awareness? Or do you think it maybe embedded something in my brain that probably wasn't going to serve me for many, many, many years to come? I'm going to pick number 3 on that one. Okay. Instead, maybe, just maybe, I'm not a teacher. I get it. I'm not throwing a stone at the system. Well, I am a little bit. What I would say is, hey, Dave's got some extra energy and he doesn't know where to apply it. Perhaps you want to introduce Dave to this or that or this or a hobby or something where he can apply that energy and put it into something that's going to grow, right? Napoleon Hill said it. What was that?
Is it transmutation?
Did you say yes?
Yeah. Oh.
Transmuting that energy, taking that energy that we have that's frustrating, taking that energy that we have that's maybe painful, taking that energy that we have, which is maybe sexual or Shakti or whatever it is, and transmuting that into a project, a vision project, a book, something creative, right? Transmuting and taking that energy and using it. You know, some guy said to me before, recycle your pain. And that was such an interesting point. It's like, You've got the pain
So, like,
from the stuff that's happened to you before.
Right.
Why not use it?
right. How can you transmute that and turn that and focus that into something that will serve you? Take that experience and learn the lesson from it, or use it to share your story to help give hope to someone else.
Yes.
It's what you do with it. And something else I wanted to mention or to comment on that you said, it's the power of language, right? So you said lack of self-control. It's about just where you're focusing your energy, like the power of your words. So that stayed with you. You clearly still remember that from how your teacher expressed that.
Yep.
Think of how we talk to ourselves every day. And it's just, that's another thing. I developed such a heightened awareness of every word that I choose, not just when I speak to other people, but my inner dialogue. So awareness is so key. What words do we choose? Do we say, oh gosh, that was so stupid? Or like, what do we say to ourselves? And again, it's never, ever, ever shaming. It's being aware of that. So I just invite you to start really trying to like tune into, or I shouldn't say trying. I invite you to really tune into, pay attention to your inner dialogue. And what I found was the more practiced I was at, going for walks and meditating and all that, I had that increased awareness, that heightened awareness. And that just serves me so powerfully. And it's just on my heart that I want to encourage other people to do the same. And start a community where we can do it together and support each other. Like how fun is that going to be?
I love it.
And actually what I also did is tools are super important too. So like tools help us, succeed. It's a way to make things easier and more efficient. So I actually have a vision project app, mobile app that will be coming up.
Look at you.
So then it's a way to make things easier to track it. I'm like, yes, this is what's needed. So then our community gets to have it. We get to share it together. So if anyone's interested, reach out to Dave or me or DM me. And when it comes out, we'll let you know, and you'll get access to the free mobile app.
I'm excited about that. Yeah. And being a part of that community and tracking and really challenging people, right? Like when I'm sitting around with my close friends or people that I love and I'm around, like we talk about like marketing. We talk about like how much water we drank that day. We talk about like the Pomodoro effect and us doing 25 minutes of work and 5 minutes off and 25 on and 5 minutes off. Like that's the stuff we talk about. When you're around us and out, people start talking about politics, or they talk about actors, or they talk about some like relationship in Hollywood or something. Like we're looking going, we don't even know what you're talking about. Like we don't even know what's happening. We're not even like receiving any of it at all. It's kind of funny. Like
it is.
I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, sales funnel. Marketing platform.
Or what could we create next? What could we do together?
What is a business that we can put together that's going to serve the community, right? And that's going to serve our clients to a higher level. Like it's just so different. And when you're in that mindset and you're around those people, it's almost like it puts a barrier, not the head in the sand, okay? Because people say, well, you don't have TV, you don't watch news, your head's in the sand. Listen. There's nothing you can do about what's going on about the news. You can't do anything about it. The only thing that you will do is, like you say, take care of yourself. Like Nicole says, yes, taking care of ourselves can give us more capacity. So often we forget that. Thank you, Nicole, because you take care of yourself. That's what abundance is. Abundance is you fill up your pitcher and then it overflows. And when it overflows, you share it with others, right?
Yeah.
That's what abundance is all about. So thank you.
And the other key too, that it just made me actually, I just posted about this the other day. It's not just about caring for yourself. It's you get to do that without feeling the guilt. See, so many times though, there's those limiting beliefs and the beliefs that don't serve us. And, they're deep rooted. We don't even realize like, oh, I feel guilty for going for that massage. Oh man. But you're so re-energized and your mind becomes clear and you think of the next business idea. Like, and you don't even have to rationalize it. You are caring for yourself, but to be able to do that and release guilt and not have guilt associated with that, that's the other key too.
Yeah.
I think that's something that, people may not be aware of. And for a long time, I wasn't aware of that. I finally was like, okay, that's why I'm not doing all of these things. I always felt like I had more work to do. How could I leave to just go for a walk? Come on, Carolyn, like finish your work. And it's like, wait, is it possible to table that for a while, go for your walk, come up with an idea, and actually figure out a way to do it in half the time? That's how this like transpired. That's how this kept going and going and going and going. But yeah, just again, it's never about shaming or guilt. It's just being aware when those feelings come up and then having the tools to let them go.
Yeah. Carolyn's on fire. And
hey, April. Hi, April.
Good to see you,
April. We went to her book signing.
I know.
Yes.
We did.
She is another amazing, positive woman. I think it's incurable positivity. She's amazing. She's another friend of mine who also went through the transformational program in New York. And again, like this stuff is amazing. It's transforming, and it just, you look at life through a new lens. And I already did going through the vision project. I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah. And it's just like, you can keep up leveling. And again, like you mentioned, it's a lifelong journey. And when you surround yourself with the right people and the right tools, like sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
And Angela says inner dialogue is definitely something we can all work on. So think about that now.
Yeah.
Like the way that we talk to ourselves. I challenge everybody to actually audit your inner dialogue for the next few days. Just audit it. So simply, like at the end of every hour or however many times a day, just kind of think back like, or catch yourself with things that you say, right?
Sure.
Maybe you forgot your keys somewhere. Like, what do you say to yourself? You know what I say when I forget my keys? I walk back, I turn around, I walk back, and I go, awesome. I just remembered my keys. Because I didn't really forget them at the time. I'm actually remembering my keys. I turn around and I go back. And then I say, you know what? It's pretty darn cool that I even have keys to a car.
Turn to gratitude.
That I can drive.
Yes.
And next time I'll remember earlier, so I'm a little bit more punctual to my next meeting.
Love it.
Now, does that take time? Does it sound silly? Yeah. You know what though? It's those important things, like when teachers or bosses or ex-boyfriends or girlfriends said things to us that embed in our mind that were negative. These positive things also embed in our mind, and it starts with us.
Yes, it's the compound effect, right? It's just like every time you're saying, oh, stupid, versus like, oh, I get to be more mindful about that. Oh, I get to be grateful that I have a car. It's the repetition, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, again, it starts with awareness and, little habits that can really help or support you in like rewiring your brain. So then the positive starts becoming the default. So if we can get to the point where the positive becomes the default, like that just serves us so powerfully.
That's Live Beyond Default. That's what the live stream is all about, right? It's choosing a life of design versus accepting a life of neglect.
Love that. Yeah.
It's stepping out of your comfort zone and recognizing that there's more to life, and if you want to be better, you go for it. It's playing big, right?
Yes.
It's making 5-year-old you and 105-year-old you proud. One of my biggest fears in life is to be laying on my deathbed and regretting things that I haven't done. Not things that I have done. It's regretting things that I haven't done. Yeah. How many times were we afraid to do something because we thought we weren't powerful enough, or we weren't smart enough, or we didn't know enough, or we're going to look silly? It's like, who do you think are the people that are actually making a difference and an impact in the world? They're the ones that think of things and then they act upon them.
Sure.
Michael Jackson back in the day woke up in the middle of the night and he called his producer and he said, look, we got to get to the studio right now. Why? Because I have a song. We have to record it right now. And the producer says, can't we just do it tomorrow morning? Like 9 o'clock?
He was in flow.
He was in flow.
Right.
Michael Jackson says, no, we have to go right now. We can't do it later in the morning because Prince will have already written it and recorded it by then. Right?
Yep. Receiving the ideas. And it's when you really get tapped into it and tuned in, yeah, you learn that like you're actually like receiving these ideas.
You're
It's awesome.
receiving
It's awesome.
these ideas. And the funny thing is you're receiving these ideas not when you're thinking about the ideas.
Right.
You receive them on the walks.
Correct.
You receive them when you're driving. You receive them when you're doing the dishes.
Right.
You receive them in the shower. Like when you're doing like menial tasks and you're present.
You're being present. Exactly.
All of a sudden it just starts to come in. And of course, when you're meditating, I left that one out. When you're meditating, but it's all these little things throughout the day that you do. When these ideas come in, there are so many times that I have been meditating in the morning and it was something about an appointment or a speech or a presentation or something that was going on later. And 2 or 3 ideas would just drop in my head. And this is not a meditation that's an hour long.
No,
we're talking
as little as 5 minutes.
Mine are usually 10 to 15 minutes,
Yeah.
10 to 15 minutes. And like 2 or 3 ideas will drop in. And I know they're going to come there. I just throw it out and it happens. And it's like, boom.
The best. And it happens again, like we're not just saying it. Ask anyone who meditates and who goes for a walk. This happens. It happens. Just trust. It really does.
Yeah.
You get ideas. It's incredible.
Yeah. And it really is exciting, right? Like when you think about all these little tools that we have available to us, when we have people that we surround ourselves with that are encouraging us to do this. And then we recognize again, like really, it doesn't cost any money to do all this.
Right.
Like it's costing us money not to do it. And then when we have that whole thing about time, I love talking about time. So Eckhart Tolle says that time is a construct made by man. We know that, right? We've got to get to appointments on time. I get it. I'm not saying to just throw that out. Okay. Use your Google Calendar. I love putting on reminders a half hour before, just like, hey, dude, ding, ding. You got a half hour before you got to be there. Like, get going, right? But think about it this way. We all have 168 hours in a week. 168 hours. If you're telling me that you don't have time to do whatever's important to you with your kids or with yourself or with your significant other or with a project that you're working on, if you're telling me you don't have time, I don't believe you. You have more than enough time to do anything and everything you want. It's not a lack of time. It's never a lack of resources.
No.
It's a lack of resourcefulness. We have plenty of time. It's just a matter of, like Carolyn said, prioritizing.
And intention too.
Intention.
So if you like, there's such a power in just setting an intention. Like this is what, what do you want for your life? Who do you want to, I love the whole be, do, have, like, who do you want to be? Like start there, because when you tap into who you want to be as a person, that will lead to, okay, well, what does that person do? And then you start taking actions accordingly. And then at that point, it's then, well, what do you have? So it's not, I want to have this and then backwards work into it. No, it's the whole, I had to share that because I just love that. I mean, I know it's not the new concept, but again, be, do, have, who you want to be, which leads to what are you going to do every day? And then that leads to what you have in life because you've generated it by who you want to be.
So think about that. Think about that. Be, do, have, right? We're not starting by saying we want this. First of all, that's just a mindset of lack. Okay. It's all right in front of us. It's being that person first. I recognized earlier this year, and it's painful to say, I had my first opportunity for $1 million listing. $1 million listing. Like that's knocking it out of the park. Especially being in real estate for 3 years, like, oh, what an opportunity. And I didn't get it. And when I started to think about it right away, I realized that to be the $1 million listing agent, it doesn't happen when you get the listing. It happens months and months before. And when I look back and reflected and learned, because everything's a learning situation. When I look back, I realized I wasn't being the $1 million listing agent. I was not being the $1 million listing agent. I took responsibility. I self-reflected. And then after I recognized that, I started being, and I
Amazing.
started doing the actions and having the mindset.
And that's when you attract it.
Different.
Now you're back to attracting it versus trying to chase it and grind it. And you know what, Dave? And I appreciate you sharing that vulnerability.
Oh, it was painful.
And I will tell you too, like I've had so many failures, and it's like, if you don't have those failures, then perhaps you're not playing big enough. And it's just like, okay, it's really about, like, I've had some epic failures. I'm like, oh man, that did not work out how I wanted it to. And then it's like, okay, well, what can I learn from this? How can I grow into that person? How could I become that person who will achieve that? You know, what would that person do? And again, you just, it's about how you get back up after you fall. I mean, really, that's what it's about. And that serves me powerfully too. So again, we fail all the time too.
The time.
But you
I failed like 3 times this morning already before I even got here. If you are not having epic failures, you are playing too small. Tweet that one, social media, Sarah. That's what Carolyn says. I love that one. And Scotty says that to us all the time too. Scotty says, are you going for the no? Have you gotten enough no's today?
Sure.
And if you haven't, you're not playing big enough. Yeah. You're not asking. You're not being. You're not doing big things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You should be getting no's 80%. Think about the 80-20 rule. We want to get 80% no's and get those 20% yeses. 80% no's. We want 80% no's and 20% yeses. Why? Because that's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to get better. And the no's are, it's not a big deal, right? As Jordan Peterson says, JP, stand up straight, put your chin up and put your shoulders back, clean your room, right? Take self-responsibility.
Sure.
And it's okay. You get knocked down. You get back up. You scrape off your knees. You wipe off your face. You fix your hair.
But I will say there is such a power in also having a supportive community. That is so key to help pick you up and support you and encourage you when you do fall. And, you know, to share stories like, oh, I've been through that before. And actually, here's what I did. And it got me to the next level. Having that support is just, it also, I think, is key. And like Dave mentioned before too, you know, how we talk about like creation and funnels and all stuff, you know, sometimes being an entrepreneur could be lonely. You know, you feel like, oh, am I the only weird person who like can't turn this stuff off? And I think about it all the time. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. And just, I encourage you just to seek out friends and, you know, who will uplift you and encourage you and support you, and that you can talk about this stuff with. So
I love that.
They are out there. I assure you. They
are out there and they will come. Dawn says, we learn by our mistakes. Ronka says, negative self-talk is so destructive. Unlearning the programming is about how we talk to ourselves. Yes, that is a great point. And Carolyn, I have a question on that note.
Sure.
Like, why does manifestation, why does it not work for some people?
Sure.
And how do we overcome that if we feel frustrated, like, I'm trying to manifest these things, trying, that's another word I don't necessarily like, or that I'm not aligned with. Why doesn't this work for us at times? Or what are these obstacles and how can we break either through them or get around them or go past them or go over them?
Yes, I love it.
Yes.
So here, and again, this is all from my studies and my experience. So Ronka nailed it. It's about like learning those negative thought patterns that don't serve us. So when we have these negative thought patterns or limiting beliefs, then that is bringing us to a lower vibrational frequency. So we are not open to receiving what we want. We're not vibing at that level. So how to like overcome these things? The first thing, it starts with awareness. Number one starts with awareness. If you're not aware that you're talking to yourself negatively or that you're vibing low or that you're beating yourself up, if you're not aware of that, well, that's where the problem starts. The second part, once you have that heightened awareness, it's then having the tools to, when you are aware that you're feeling down or you're feeling guilt, you're feeling shame, you're feeling whatever that's not serving us, that's not allowing us to receive, that we have the tools to break through that. And again, when I say breakthrough, it's not like, oh, I broke through it, I'm done, yay. It's a journey. It's
It never
a
ends.
constant. So it's having that awareness, having the tools, having the community to keep us aware and breaking through those limiting beliefs and those thought patterns and shifting. It's not about like, oh, I'm just going to be positive. It's like, okay, you get to feel the feelings, you get to feel those emotions, and then you get to pivot and reframe it. What's the story that you're telling yourself? I mean, facts are facts, and we use so much inflammatory language. It's crazy. And it's like these stories then become reality. So when we can actually work through that together, and when you have like a mentor who can help you and a community that can help you, and it's the consistency, it's being in the work. You don't just do it once and go, oh, I'm cured, I'm going to manifest everything. It's really, and it's through I found that the Vision Project is what helped me gain that awareness, and it keeps me vibing high. So then the level beyond that is community. So that's why I'm looking to create this community, so we can go through this together and manifest together.
So when we're stuck and it's not working, number one, awareness.
Yes.
That's where it starts. It's all about self-awareness and just recognizing our thought patterns, our language patterns, and where are we feeling this in the body?
Yes.
Right? Where,
Is it your, yes.
Where are we feeling this
in
the body? Like, could it be the shoulders? It could be the neck. It could be the belly. It could be the back, like all these different areas. And then having the tools and the resources. They're out there. The tools and resources are out there. When the student is ready, the teacher shows up. It's right there. I
love that.
And most of it's, if not all of it's already been written. And then finding that community. So important to find that community of like-minded people. And again, like Carolyn says, it doesn't mean that like we're just being positive for the sake of being positive. It's like, we're not being delusional. We get to focus. We get to choose on what to focus on.
Yes.
Right.
And hey, Greg, by the way, I love Greg Colino's on. Hey, and she commented, this is so true. The best thing you can do for yourself and those around you is turn from a negative to a positive. So absolutely, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. So like,
yes, it does.
We get to, let it, I read recently, because again, reading is so powerful. It's like, you're not stopping it. You're letting go. You're experiencing your experience. You're letting it come through you and saying, okay, this is how I feel. I get it. But then again, the awareness, like, stop. What are the inflammatory words I'm using? What's my story I'm creating around the situation? And then I get to frame it towards, okay, what's my result? What do I want to come out of this? And framing it, going back to the solution, going back to that's the positive. Now we're turning it back to positive. What do we want? What results do we want? So when we can become results focused, it's amazing what we can create in life. And it's not that, I'm not saying that problems just, go away, but I'm telling you how like solutions will appear so much faster. There's always an abundance of possibilities and solutions. It's when you focus on that and you can learn how to transmute that energy is where there's a huge power too. So thank you for sharing that, Greg.
Yeah, Greg, that was really powerful that you said that. And I appreciate that too, because Carolyn mentioned, life happening through you. So when we look at different energy levels, you have like life happening to us, and that's really at a low energy state.
Sure.
When we're at a low energy state, like, why is this happening? And it's victim villain, right? It's pointing fingers, and it just feels yucky. And then life's happening for us. Like, yeah, that's a little bit more positive, but that's still kind of like the even keel plane, right? Like, I'm doing okay. I could be doing better, but I'm kind of in my comfort zone when life is happening for me. As Carolyn said, when life is happening through you, though, now it's like you're a fan. You're a fan, and you're bringing that air, you're bringing that energy into your body, and you're turning it around and mixing it, and you're loving it, and then you're bursting it out to the world and sharing your gifts. Like, That's life happening through you. That's a high energy level. And getting at that point, it's not easy to get at that point. And it's a constant practice. Like it never ends. And we just have to embrace that.
Yes.
When it does, though, it's better than any drug. It's better than anything out there. It's natural. It's connecting with the universe. It's connecting with God. It's connecting with our higher power.
Yes.
Excuse me. And it's there. It's there for all of us.
And I also love what you said too about it's like, I think, did you say like of being of serve, or how could it benefit others, or being of service to? It's coming through us. And that's another thing, when we can get to the point of like, how is our experience? How could that help others? Or just, you know, again, in reflecting, how could we show up to make someone else's day better too? Like now you've reached a whole other level, and that will bring you so much peace and joy. And when again, helping other, I mean, it could be as little as just smiling to someone down the street. But again, just having that mindfulness of how could life come through me? How could my talents and gifts, that I think that's what you said. How could
sharing our gifts with the world.
Our gifts with the world.
Mm-hmm.
How could our natural gifts make the world a better place, and just make someone's day just a little bit brighter?
Oh, and on that note, we're going to end, because we want to stop when we're on top, right? We want to leave the place better than we found it. I think we've done that. More importantly, though, the guests that have been on today have been so kind. We love the comments. We really appreciate you sharing and investing this hour with us, whether it's live or you are watching the replay on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or perhaps YouTube. I appreciate the subscribing and the sharing, because I'm looking to get 100 subscriptions on Spotify and Apple Podcasts by the end of October. So that's my goal, since I just got on there.
Subscribe, absolutely.
And we're going to end off in a way like exactly what Carolyn was saying, by making somebody's day. So there's a close and dear friend to us, Gabby Vargas. And when she was on the live stream, she said, text someone today, I'm thinking about you. So I'm going to challenge all of us to go home, go to work, wherever we are, it doesn't matter. Pick up your phone, scroll through, think of somebody, and text them, I'm thinking about you. And I guarantee you're going to make their day. So thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This episode of Live Beyond Default Livestream. It's episode number 56. Carolyn from the Vision Project. Carolyn, creator of Break the Mold. Any last words?
Visionary. My last word is that you have the power to manifest your dream life. So I know you can do it, and go forth and be awesome.
I love that. All right, everybody get their phones ready to take a picture of this screenshot here, because here's our famous last words. Until next time, make it a great week. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
You're the best. Yay. Thank you. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much.